Good morning. Once again, and maybe for the last time, I'll say Happy New Year, and we'll come back to Earth, get back to reality, try to figure out what day it is. So confused. And welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. I'm so confused. Drink it if you got it. Oh, we wait for the crowd to show up. Where are you, crowd? Having the same trouble getting started that I am this morning, evidently. I think it's Friday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. January 2nd. We've had like 3 weekends in 1 week. It's been crazy. And I don't think I'm the only guy that's a little confused or whose clock is screwed up. My hours got screwed up on New Year's Eve. My circadian rhythm took a hit, which affected my sleep schedule and everything, all for one night of lunacy. But we had a good time on New Year's Eve. We had a good time on our New Year's Eve live stream. All our friends came and went, and we did a members live stream last night. And here we are this morning with a morning coffee live stream. So I'm a little blurry-eyed. So how's everybody? Everybody all over with the holidays now and ready to settle back down and deal with the realities of life and all the new stuff which gets instituted, the new laws, the new politicians, the new everything else that are going to change everything in our lives once we just got used to the way it used to be 5 minutes ago. What a crazy world. What a crazy world we live in. Let's see, is Kilty still going on over there? Let's take a look. Yes, he's still going on with Zane Griggs. And that may account for why I only have 31 people. Oh, well. Oh, well. I watched some of that this morning. And I had to stop. Sorry. I see he's getting a lot of views over there. A lot of people are asking a lot of questions. And I had to turn it off. I had to tune it out. Can't watch it. Why, Mitch, you may say? All I got was confused. I got no answers and hundreds of more questions that makes me want to fix what I'm doing. Eating a pure carnivore diet with no carbs. Makes me want to fix it. Makes me want to run out and get 20 other and 30 other blood tests. Makes me want to have to hire a certified public accountant to keep track of everything I need to do and exactly what time of the day I need to do it. And I'm so confused. I thought I had it. I thought I had it right yesterday. I thought I had it. Was doing great. Now I'm confused again. And I only watched about 10 minutes of the show. So, and I know I've talked to Zane Griggs for hours in person. Great guy. I can't watch it. I'm sorry. I'm burnt out. I'm burned out. We're always trying to fix, in my opinion, and my final opinion, ain't broke. Every time I try to fix it, I just screw it up, and I have to get back to what worked for me. And what works for me, probably, in all certainty, is not exactly the same thing that works for a guy like Zane Griggs at his age and with his genetics and in his physical shape and with his ancestry and his programming. And what happens, I think, we work so hard. We work so hard to try to find what works, that it's not the same thing for each of us. So I think we need to try to come up with a better way to not make it so confusing, because the average person isn't up to that much management, micromanagement. Doesn't live by the gram scale. I think Zane Griggs could probably eat anything, like so many people we know, probably eat anything and be handsome and thin and muscular and healthy. I know people like that. When they say 60% of the people in this country are obese, they don't say 40% of the people in this country are not obese. When they say that 80% of the people in this country are metabolically ill, that leaves some 20% running around out there eating this shit, drinking the beer, who are not metabolically ill. We're different, and it's making me nuts. And I just can't watch it anymore. I can't watch it. I can't listen to it. And that doesn't make me, I guess, a place where people want to go and ask for advice. And I'm getting tired. You can hear it in me. I've spent the last month trying to figure out, what do I want to do with this little YouTube channel of mine, because I don't want to play this game anymore of what's the new trend today and how many carbs should I add. And I'm so confused. And I don't think that's really good for any of us. I stopped making videos about anything other than superficial stuff. Recipes, walk and talks, things like that. And I stopped making them. I think I made 2 videos other than live streams in the whole month of December. You're getting tired of me. That's painfully obvious, because I got 40 people here. And Kills is still going on. So I'll tell you what I want to do, my friends. I'm tired, if you can't tell. I'm really tired. I'm going to take the weekend off. I'm going to make a decision as to whether to continue on YouTube, how I can be entertaining and effective when I'm so disillusioned with the complete direction of this space, YouTube in general, and the fact that I'm almost 79 years old, and maybe I've done whatever good I can do, or get excited. But obviously, I'm not excited. I'm not excited, and most of you that I love don't seem too excited either, except a small handful. So I'm going to call it short today. I'm not angry, but I'm going to call it short. I'm not going to compete with kilts. I'm not going to compete with them. They decided, I guess, that whatever reason, we all go along from time to time. But I'm not going to compete with my friend Kiltsy, and I'm not going to do a Saturday Night Live or a Sunday. And if I decide I want to continue on YouTube in this vein, I'll be here Monday morning. If not, I will make a video and tell you all the reasons why I don't think I want to do this anymore. And maybe tell you what direction I think I might want to take my channel, because I don't want to give up YouTube and I don't want to give up my friends. But honest to God, trying to exist in this ridiculous, how we call it, a cesspool of advice and salesmanship in our healthcare space, and continuing once again to fight every day the propaganda and the crap that gets thrown at us, and the censoring and the shadow banning of our message, and the demonization of meat, to always be David in the David and Goliath battle. I've done it in the drone. I did it in my drone channel against the federal government. I did it in my cigar business against the federal government. Now I'm finding myself getting up every day, putting on my armor to go fight the same battle against the same idiots and morons, the same government, the same misinformation, the same agendas, the same greed, and the same corruption. I've been doing it all my life. I'm just getting tired of it. And I really, really only came on here in the first place and intended to tell people, hey, I discovered this and it worked for me, and here's what I do. I turned out being a biochemist. I turned up being a cook, a chef, all these things. That wasn't my intention when I first came on YouTube. I was excited. I wanted to share a discovery, but this is what has happened, and this is what it's become. Well, I look at Kiltsy is finishing up. Maybe I'll just take a minute and say hello to my friends here. When they get done over there, let me do this. Let me do this. Let me interact with you guys, because I'm, as you can tell, I'm not excited this morning. I'm just not really excited. But I'm among friends. It's the only reason I'm here. That's the only reason I'm here. And I hope you don't mind if I take tomorrow night off, because it's been a very, very live stream heavy week for me. And I just need to make a decision. I haven't made it yet. But I do know that for the past few months, I've been taking all this stuff way too seriously. I've been listening to Kilts and the Zane Griggs and everybody telling me, putting a scare into me, telling me I need more blood tests. I need to make it more and more and more and more complicated. Well, first of all, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. My YouTube feed is full of videos that say what you can expect after you get to be 80 and there's nothing you can do about it. And it tells you step by step how the human body deteriorates into death. Then I listen to the carnivore community, and they're telling me nobody out there is telling me if there's anything I need to do differently once I get to be 80. It's a bunch of muscular, young, pretty people who would have been muscular, young, and pretty had they been on a carnivore diet or not. Most of them. And a few influencers that lost a ton of weight because of this. But is what they did right for me. Hey, Kilts is done. All right, my friend. Have a nice weekend, everybody. I'm not going to go over all the pre-chat. Let me see real quick who was the first one in this morning. 777. It was Brian Dish. Hiya, Brian. Let me give you a little sound effects. Lambs is here. Hiya, Lambs followed right up with him. And who was this? This was Barry Simon. Hiya, Barry. Sorry, I'm not in a better mood this morning, but I just got set me off. It just set me off to be watching the discussion that they were having on Kilts. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have that discussion, but to watch that discussion and see the questions everybody was asking. And I just say, no, don't think about that. Stop dwelling on that. Stop obsessing about that. I don't care if Zane Griggs can eat 400 grams of carbs a day. He's not a carnivore. He's never had the need to be a carnivore. Zane Griggs is not a carnivore. Did anybody, he finally, at the very end of the stream, they talked about the fact, well, everybody thought he was a carnivore because he hosted the animal movie. Well, the animal movie was not a carnivore movie either. Just another one of these things that we get all excited about. We eat animals. Humans eat animals. Humans eat all kinds of crap. We're not. Why do we assume that every time somebody says eat meat, that they're saying eat only meat? That's not true. We carnivores are different. We say don't eat plants. Eat low or zero carbs. Most of us are really keto, and so many people who think they're carnivore aren't even keto. Then they say, well, you got to measure ketones every 5 minutes. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If you're hungry, eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. If you think plants are going to poison you or you've had bad reactions, don't eat plants. If you don't even like plants, like me, I don't like salads. I don't like vegetables. I don't like it. That's my body's cue. When I say to people, listen to your body. Take cues from your body. If you don't want to eat something, that's wake up. Ding, ding, ding. Wait a minute. The fact that you have no desire to eat something is your body's message that you should be listening to. It's just that simple. Even a caveman did it. Why would you want to eat something that doesn't appeal to you? Because the mechanism of that appeal is how our subconscious brain gets messages that stimulate action. It's how the animals are. You put something that your dog doesn't want to eat in front of his face, he turns his head away. He doesn't go watch a YouTube video telling him why he should eat that thing. When a baby pushes a vegetable away and throws a plate of cream spinach on the floor, they're taking a cue without conscious thought. They are reacting naturally. I swear we humans with our intelligence have doomed us, have doomed the species. Yeah, we're a little more civilized and politically correct. We are charitable and kinder to each other until terrorism or war starts. We start killing each other over differences in religion. Just how smart are we? I see it every day in society, and it all fits the same big picture. And the diet that's right for you is one that works. Then something that so many people minimize, just minimize the real problem, the real reason that we're all so unhealthy. Do I have to spell it out again? ADDICTION. Not just addiction, but controlled, purposeful, evil, manipulation in a highly scientific manner by the food and drug companies, the media, and every other corrupt and money-driven organization that we've invented to make sure we are constantly triggered and those addictions are constantly stimulated in us from every angle, in every way, every minute of our lives and every day. The addiction to sugar. How can people not see this? How can they not see it? Wow, look who's here. Yes, sir. Woke up. This is probably why I don't give it up. I started out this morning kind of very down and melancholy, and here I am ranting about my pet peeves again. More and more control in every way over us. All of it's being used to make sure that we hear exactly the right message at exactly the right time, and we get it from every direction. But instead, nobody's interested in hearing that message. That doesn't get you lots of views. Nobody wants to hear that. The eating part, the diet part, the what you should do part of whether it's carnivore or keto or low carb or lion diet or who knows. It's diet. You take food, you put it in your mouth. You chew it and swallow it. If you want to put it in your mouth, it's probably something you should eat. At least it used to be something you should eat until we have been brainwashed. And that's what it is. Brainwashed by all the commercials, all the advice, playing to our ego, playing to our sex drive, playing to everything. Oh, you want to be cool? Do this. You want to be a part of the in crowd? Eat that. You want to be at the you seen it exactly the right place? Go to this event. What are we feeding you with this event? Shit. Want to be healthy? Drink this smoothie and eat this plate of carrots, celery, and broccoli. How do we know that? Because that's what they do in every TV show that we ever watch. We get the message from everywhere. If you watch a sitcom, anytime somebody eats bacon and eggs, everybody goes, "Oh, you're looking for a heart attack, aren't you?" Whenever they have a party or an office meeting, they bring out one of two things. They either bring out the donuts and the pastries and the cookies and all that crap, or they bring out the big trays of vegetables and raw carrots and maybe a little cheese sprinkled in. But they never bring out a plate of prime ribs or hamburgers at these things because they have to adhere to the message, lest somebody from HR come and sue them for trying to. You want your employees to eat meat? How dare you? It's coming at us from everywhere. We should be talking about these kind of things. But no, we're talking about, well, eat so many, you need to eat carbs because you need to get all these blood tests and you need to do this. You need to live in your doctor's office. And, like it says on TV, ask your doctor if Zymbalta and Ozempic and all these other crap is right for you, because I don't know how you're going to live till tomorrow. Hurry up. Hurry. Well, my doc's not in a hurry. I can't get a hold of him. Well, you better get in there because, we might not have enough of this Ozempic for you. We get bombarded. And then you watch YouTube videos. You watch videos and live stream some people. And you ask questions. And what were those questions? Oh, my God, don't ask me to. At least I have a following here, a small one, but a following of misfits who know better than to ask me questions that require blood tests and numbers and other things like that. I don't know. So what are you guys saying? Lizzie says, no, Peter, just a rocky start this morning. Yeah, Peter was up very late last night. Yes. No, I wasn't. I was in bed. I wasn't up late. I was in bed at before 10. I'm sorry if I do this. I'm sorry if I just air my thoughts to a crowd. That's just who I am. I speak my mind. It's the only way that I don't get depressed is I let that out. And since I live alone and I have nobody to talk to, I have 90 therapists here today. And if I had somebody to bounce these things off of and bounce these thoughts off of, living with me or any neighbors that I thought could even comprehend my thinking, I'd maybe bounce it off of them. But the people that I meet, the people that I know, only care about superficial things. They only want to talk about the weather and their pains and their diseases and their medical adventures and their doctor's visits and their problems. And I'm not seeking that out, nor do I want to impose it on anybody. I'm still young at heart and trying to help. And it's very, very frustrating, very frustrating. And I want you to know how much I do appreciate the loyal following that I have here. But like in most other places. I never fit. Many of you, I know that feeling. Always the oddball, always outside the box, the nonconformist, the guy going against the traffic, the wrong way up a one-way street. That's me. I've always been that way. Maybe because I've always recognized that what was coming from the rest of it was destructive and insignificant and harmful. Peter says, that's why we Mitchfits are all here, almost 100 of us, because we believe you are telling us your way. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter. You know, I value all you guys. I value all you guys. And I guess when I get off to a slow start, and I know I'm only talking to 20 people, it's depressing. It's so where's everybody? I guess most of you all come around. And a lot of people are watching Kilts. And Kilts is trying. He's trying. And I keep telling people that he and I believe so many of the same things. He's in a different position than I am. He can't do what I do. He can't come on and rant. He's trying to appeal to, like Ken Berry. He can't do this either. I can't straighten out my thing. There you go. Ken Berry can't do this. Anthony Chafee, once in a blue moon, you can see he's aggravated when some absurd, stupid question comes across. None of the carnivore, except maybe Bart K. And Bart K, I'm still trying to figure out what's the real Bart K and what's the act. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory manner, because most people who sit in front of a microphone and a camera put on a completely phony persona. They're acting. I'm not acting, folks. I'm talking to my friends. And this is how I feel. And this is not the first time I've talked about this. I keep trying to overcome it, to continue to find my little place in this community where I might do some good. I must be doing somebody or some good or saying something, because my numbers aren't all that bad. But I pretty well decided I just can't continue for a lot of reasons, because it's physically harder to make these cooking videos and things, and I still have a long way to go in my stroke recovery. I'm still not spry. I hate to use that word, spry, yet. I'm not bouncing around. I'm still constantly worried about falling. I have to be very deliberate and careful in my steps. I don't trip over anything. It ain't easy. It's been physically very, very, very tough. And as the recovery from these things are, that's changed a lot of how I have to approach things. And I've been trying to live the way I used to live. I've been fighting like hell against it. But it is tough. It is tough. And I do have to be careful. So I've been doing these live streams. But the problem with these live streams is they don't go anywhere. They're one and done. They're like a TV show that you watch. The replays are only the people who would have watched it if they could live. But it's not pushed out there to anybody that doesn't know me. So I don't get, my channel certainly doesn't grow. There's no ad revenue from it. You guys buy me a coffee now and then, which is very, very nice, but you can't make a living on YouTube. So I've had to, a while ago, give up completely the even the thought of being able to make a living doing this, let's say full time. I make less than $1,000 a month total now from all of it. That's it. Less than $1,000 a month. $200 a week probably, between the buy me a coffees, the ad revenue, the private community people who, do the $3.99 a month thing. All of that added up. All of that. A couple $100 a week for probably what amounts to 20, 30 hours of work. So I'm working for half a minimum wage now on YouTube. And if that was the only reason I did it, I would have given it up long ago. But I'll never go viral. I'll never be a big star. I'll never get those $1 million paychecks from Google. And then I have to pay taxes on top of the $200 a week. It puts me over my between what I do earn in doing computer work. It puts me over the limit where my Social Security is tax-free. So I end up in with making just enough money to live, but I end up being in a tax bracket where I have to pay taxes on my Social Security. I have to pay Medicare and Social Security taxes on what earnings I make from Google or YouTube, 1099. And for a guy who's making almost no money, I ended up with a $20,000 tax bill for the year, which is like, 40% of what I actually made. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Once again, everything is out of control. But I'm sorry, I complain. Peter says, Deborah, Mitch had his stroke almost a year ago, but is doing great and amazing recovery. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Peter seems to be rising in my defense this morning. Rick says, with no income, my tax bracket is not my concern. That's great, Rick. That's great. Question, you say you're not here for numbers and views, but for the community. So why think about your stats on YouTube? If you enjoy it, do it, says John Beatty. Well, I guess that's a fair question, John. That's a fair question. Do I like to make a little money? I only know one person that doesn't seem to like to make money. Only one, at least self-professed, and that's Rick. Averse to money. Completely averse to money. If you can figure out a way to live and do that, that's fine. But everybody else I know on the planet is driven by the need to be able to procure the things they need to live. Shelter, transportation, you got kids to raise, college to pay for, medical expenses to pay for. You need money in this world. So when I say I enjoy it, and somebody challenges me, well, if you enjoy it so much, why do you want to get paid for it? Well, duh. I don't want to steal from anybody. But anybody out there who says they love their work so much, John, so much, let me work for free. Let me do this out of the pure love of it. Let me spend all my time helping you with no regard for the fact that the guy at the grocery store's got to be paid. He'll understand, John. He'll understand. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Gas Station. I need gas for my car, but I have no money. But I help so many people and I enjoy what I do so much. Come on. Listen to how absurd that is. I had a goal when I started this YouTube. Way back in the drone days, I was living on Social Security and a little bit of computer income. I lost my retirement. It was stolen from me. My goal was to make $400 or $500 a week, couple $1,000 a month to supplement my Social Security. But why not do something you enjoy? So I started a drone channel. When that went to hell because of the government and regulations and laws and all the other shit, I took my channel and converted it to Carnivore with the same philosophy. Why not do something you love? Well, I'm passionate about this. Everybody knows it. But the need to make a few grand a month was still there. I have to live. I have expenses. My rent goes up in my community every year. It's doubled since I've been here. My car insurance has tripled in the past 4 years. My homeowner's insurance has gone up 5 times because of hurricanes in the past year. My electric bill has doubled in the past 5 years. But I don't need to pay that shit. I don't need to pay it. You all know that. You don't need to pay your bills either if you're doing something you love. What the hell? And I try to be honest about it. And what do I try to be honest. I'm not here to get rich. I'm here to pay my bills. And maybe have a little nest egg in case of emergencies. So I don't worry as much. But somebody always asks me the question, well, if you love it so much, why are you worried about your numbers? Yeah. Hope I answered that question. John comes from the Kenberry fans, where every question you pay for, you're told to eat meat, says Lizzie. Mitch here gives knowledge of the answers. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you so much. That's why I keep doing that. Because at least there are a few people out there among this small crowd. Now, there's many smaller YouTubers, guys that are newer at this, that look at my 100 viewers on a live stream and say, wow, this guy's a big shot. Look at all that. I look at it in relation to the numbers. If I was putting on an event and I put it on in my basement and 12 people showed up and I had room for 12 people, I would say it was a full house. I had a successful event. But if I put on my event in Yankee Stadium and 12 people showed up, I would say, where the hell is everybody? It's all relative. So compared to my events, which are my live streams, 100 people may be a lot for, considering the venue size. But as far as a Joe Rogan live stream, or even a Ken Berry live stream where he gets 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people, my 100 is nobody. Where are the rest of those people? How come those people that are watching Ken Berry, the thousands of them, aren't watching me? Well, anybody who does this YouTube stuff would question that. They'd say to themselves, what am I doing wrong? Well, I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm just not Ken Berry. Nobody else is either. So, well, thank you, Lizzie. Thank you. Amy says, my concern with relying on YouTube income is that it's not reliable. Rules change. minute to minute, and they can take it away at any minute. I'm not going to count on YouTube for my regular income. Well, that I don't either. You think that I would count on being a YouTuber as a career? You hear me rail. I mean, I agree 100%. It's a side gig. It's a side gig. But it's a side gig that I've got a tremendous amount of my lifetime energy and even a little talent invested in, which makes it harder and harder to give up. And you really can't change the way they work. They demonetized my New Year's Eve live stream, for example. I don't give a shit, because if it was monetized, I would have earned about $4, $4. Because I got a total of about 1,000 views, live and replay, and you get paid about $3 to $4 1,000 in advertising revenue. So that means that my advertising revenue from YouTube, if I get, say, 30,000, I think I got 30-something thousand total views last month on everything. Well, some of those weren't monetized. I don't monetize my members' live streams, but let's say 30,000 views, total views in a month. That's not even a good for one video, but that's what you get when you do live streams. You get the people that watch it, and that's it. You don't get, no, it doesn't go viral. You don't get 100,000 views. You don't, So 30,000 views at $3 to $4 is $100. So for all these live streams, my advertising revenue is about $100, $150 a month. Now, and they can take it away from you. If somebody thinks you use something that they had copyrighted, whether legally or illegally, they just file a copyright claim against YouTube, and YouTube says, sorry, we're giving your $100 to these guys. You can protest it or not. That's great. Try to get through to them. You can sit and write endless emails, spend millions of dollars on lawyers, but are you that stupid? We're not a government. This is our company. We make the rules, and whatever we do, you're stuck with. And you're going to get some woke 12-year-old sitting at the desk when you call on the phone, and go argue with them. If not, and you don't like it, then go away. Go to Rumble. We don't care about you, YouTube says. If we can't make money off you, why the hell are we even talking to you? And would you expect them to be any other way? That's the world. They're in business. They can't make money off you. They don't want to know you. They don't want to know you. All they care about in promoting a channel and pushing it out there is how fast that channel's appeal accelerates. And they make a bet on them. Say, okay, it looks like this has got a great shot at becoming a huge moneymaker for us, so we'll help them out a little bit. Kind of like a parent that pays for your college education because they think you're so good. Bill Cook says, I've seen another channel get enough to pay for his food for a week. Oh, it happens. It happens, but does it happen every week? Bill Cook says way less. What are you telling me, Bill? What are you telling me? I know that. I did better with 1,000 total subs on my drone channel. I have 45,000 subs right now. 43,000 of them are gone. They're not carnivores. They don't care anymore. They're gone. You could tell how many Subs mean nothing on YouTube. Subscribers mean nothing. The number means nothing. Ken Berry's got 3.5 million subscribers. Everybody's so busy, worried about how many subscribers they have. Most of them don't watch. Even the subscribers, if they haven't watched your videos in a week or so, your videos don't show up in their recommended feeds anymore. The algorithm that YouTube has is programmed to consider that if somebody hasn't watched a video of yours in a week, Google is wasting its time in what it's promoting to you. And it wants to promote videos closer to what you've been watching in the last hour. That's why, if you've ever noticed, if you're on YouTube and you type in you search for a video on an obscure subject that you've never watched, and then, God forbid, you watch 2 of those videos, for the next day, half of your feed is going to be filled up with other videos basically exactly the same. Exactly the same. And if you don't believe me, try it. Watch 2 or 3 videos about what happens to your body after you get to be 70. What changes occur in my body after 70? Watch 2 or 3 videos. They're usually AI-generated videos off a script with just stills, changing scenes, text bouncing around at the bottom, and some scholarly sounding voice. But you watch 2 or 3 of those videos, and then you go back to YouTube and go to your recommended feed, and that's all you'll get. That's all you get. Where's Mitch? We're not going to show you Mitch's videos. You seem to be really more interested in this, more likely to click on it. We're more likely to get to show you an ad, unless, of course, you pay us $15 a month so we don't show you ads. And that's YouTube. And then to we influencers and creators, YouTube keeps sending us emails telling us how much they care about us and how much they're trying to help us. And then there's a whole cadre of YouTube channels designed to tell us how to get more views on YouTube, how to be more popular, how to go viral, how to hack the algorithm, do this, do that. And then you end up as a YouTuber as confused as weak dieters, weak carnivore health nuts supposedly are. Well, what should I do? This guy says do this, that guy says do that. I don't know. My smoke's coming out of my ears. I'm done. We all fall into that trap. There's too much information out there, too many transactions. We're not supposed to deal with this level of activity. We're supposed to work, eat, have sex, and rest. That's what propels life forward. We're not supposed to walk around all day with cell phones, having our heads buried in cell phones, while we look at a TikTok video of somebody extolling the virtues of their stool shape and size. Or some fat chick who weighs 500 pounds sitting there on TikTok, stuffing her face. It's crazy. This world has lost its mind. Either that or I'm just too old and I'm not hip or with it anymore. And I've been here for almost an hour, ranting and talking and observing and talking about myself and my experiences living in this world, um, answering the questions about, well, if you haven't done something, why do you want to make money? Duh. Duh. Double duh. That should be obvious to everybody but Rick. And I say that in a loving way. Wow, Mark Whistler. Oh, Mark, you guys are so good. I got it. Where is it? Mark Whistler. Oh, yeah, look at this. Wow. Barry Simon bought me a coffee this morning. Thank you so much, Barry, for the commenter and comedic Mitch we all love. Yeah. I keep telling you I'm not going anywhere. I keep telling you I'm thinking about it, and I do. I think about it every day. I'm not thinking about leaving YouTube. I'm not, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to quit. I'm thinking about just developing something that we'd all find fun, but not under the premise of giving carnivore or diet advice. Just a kind of a general morning show or something like that, where I come on and rant and I'll take any questions about any subject. I think that'd be just as entertaining. I can't fill up an hour or make videos with carnivore advice anymore and still call it carnivore, and trying very hard not to be clickbaity. Should you add carbs or not? Like it's a life and death decision. Meanwhile, the rest of the people are all out there eating all the shit and everything, and they're still living. They may not be healthy, but they're all still living. What do they get? We get maybe 5 years on them, 10 years. We're still. Barry, thank you. Barry Simon bought me a coffee. Mark Whistler bought me 10 coffees for New Year's. Thank you. Happy New Year, he says. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Jane, Jane, you're such a regular supporter. I so appreciate it. Bought me 2 coffees. Good morning, Mitch. You got to listen to the Billy Joel sing Just the Way You Are today. Yeah. And my friend Jerry Voitish bought me a coffee. Thank you, Jerry. Says thank you. So I know I'm doing something right. I know I'm doing something right here. I'm trying. I do enjoy it. You guys gotta know that I don't need that. I could live without that $500 on a great month. If it got to 1,000, it'd be crazy. I can live without that. I do have a real job, even though it's kind of like a side gig. It still pays me enough to live. And I've managed, since I went broke all those years ago, to put away a little nest egg, because I'm still a cautious guy. So I don't live month to month or week to week, or day to day like so many people do. I've managed to be frugal, very frugal in my life. I allow myself a nice car, but I live in a mobile home that I own that's 40 years old. And I don't have to pay, and I pay lot rent, but I don't pay property taxes. I lease my cars. It's a fixed expense every month, and I know what it is. They're always new. I don't have any car repairs or anything. I'm covered in for my medical expenses. So the $150,000 that my stroke cost was paid for by the VA, and if not that, it would have been handled by my Medicare Advantage plan. I have Medicare. I'm not financially ignorant. I made and lost tons of money. So, but You have dated, I'm an achiever. I always have been. Uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm not Mother Teresa. Maybe I just feel that because all my life, the measure of my success has always been how much money I earned. I can't get over that. Sometimes you can't change. Well, thank you for the coffee. That's very, very nice of you. And Erin is here and says, "Good morning, everyone." Erin, you missed it. Mother Teresa was a sick lady. Says Rick, yeah. And I always say, and people, I don't know if they get it or not. I don't know if they get it. Because Mother Teresa is supposed to be the example of altruism. And many people don't hear the word an altruist or altruism and don't really know the deep meaning. So you should look it up. Another word for altruism is philanthropy. But the problem today is most so-called philanthropists do it through a foundation like Bill Gates and those guys, which has agendas behind it. So anything they're foundation, like Bill Gates is a guy that wants to, he's like Dr. Evil, he wants you to eat fake meat and kill all the cows. He's a flaming lunatic as far as I'm concerned, but they have the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. But everything that they do with that money supports their agendas to control the whole world. What we eat, where we live, how we breathe, what we drive. So the charity oftentimes is really not a charity. It's a tax dodge and a way of spreading their agenda through a straw organization. And most times these things are anonymous, so you don't even know who's behind it. And I always say, even Mother Teresa got a paycheck from the church and benefits and health insurance and housing and transportation. And her name is used as the epitome of altruism. Duh. Would she have done it if she couldn't find food and was starving and nobody was helping her and feeding her? If she didn't have a job with benefits and a paycheck, would she have still done what she did? I doubt it. Are our hospitals full of homeless volunteers that spend their entire day helping everybody with no reward, no pay, no nothing? Does anybody really volunteer in this world that at least isn't either retired or financially self-sufficient? Does somebody who needs to pay rent and eat food and pay for their family ever volunteer their life for no money if they have no way to pay their bills? No. Well, maybe somebody's going to point out an exception. That's great. DS says, I can't volunteer. I have a cat. Yeah, you have responsibilities. Rick says, people who are starving cannot help anyone. That's true. And what do we tell those people? Well, get a job. Get a job. And they'll say, well, I had a job. I was making money on YouTube, but I had to take sponsors and I had to be an advertiser. I had to prostitute myself out for money. I had to sell things to people. And they told me that I was a bad person because I did that. So I had to quit. Well, then you're homeless. It's the real world. I don't know where some people live, but it's not in my world, that's for sure. Jerry Voices says, thanks for all you do, Mitch. Everyone have a great Friday and weekend. You too, Jerry. Thanks again for the coffee. That's great. That's great. Well, this has been a very, very interesting show today. It's 8:05 already, and I, of course, haven't been outside yet. It was extremely cold out there, and I got up at 6 this morning because because my clock is way off. Next year, if I, I'll be here. I know I'll still be here, but next year, why don't we do New Year's Eve at like 7 to 9? Because somewhere at 7 to 9, it's New Year's. Let's celebrate their New Year's and go to bed on time. Kelsey had the right idea. He was in bed by 8. I invited him to come on my New Year's Eve thing. And the next day I got a text from him. So sorry I couldn't make it. I went to bed at 8. So let's do that next year, maybe, because it really does screw you up. You get into, especially I guess as you get older, maybe you get into this rhythm. I don't know how these first responders do it, where they get woken up all night long to go fight fires. Rick says Costco is too expensive. Costco can be expensive in some things, and some things are cheap. You got to know what to look for. Certainly not as expensive as Publix, though. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, everybody's still being very social. Sorry for the glumness at the beginning of this, my friends. That all came from, and it's not anybody's fault. It's not Zane Griggs' fault or Kelsey's fault or anybody's fault, because these are the topics that we're talking about. But I try not to talk about these things here, because I think it's destructive and confusing to keep bringing more and more variables into this lifestyle and veering away from the simplicity that actually gives you the best chance of succeeding. And I know people are susceptible to these messages because I fall for these things. And I struggled with the one message that, and Zane Griggs was talking about it when I tuned in this morning, about the fact that my blood sugar was 10 points higher when I didn't eat carbohydrates. And when I added the carbohydrates, and my morning fasting blood sugar went down 10 points. And my first thought was this: show me a long-term randomized controlled trial comparing people whose fasting blood sugar over a period of 10 years, 20 years is 90. Compare that to the health of people whose fasting blood sugar over 5 or 10 years in the morning is 10 points lower. The group that's not eating carbs might have a fasting blood sugar in the morning of 90, and the people that are eating carbs might have a fasting blood sugar of 80. But prove to me that there's any health benefits for the group over 8 has 80 over 90. Same thing can be true with cholesterol. Show me the study that says that people who eat no carbs are lean mass, like me, and have an LDL of 350. For me, a long-term study that showed that it didn't help me or hurt me, kill me, cause me heart disease. There are no studies. So we arbitrarily, and this is important, and if I say nothing today, this is a trend that we have to recognize and get over. Who the hell are these people who assign the words good and bad to anything? Bad cholesterol and good cholesterol. You know, who knows what, in any way, whether a 90 fasting blood sugar because you don't eat carbs isn't beneficial for you. Maybe it's something we should be shooting for. Maybe when we see our fasting blood sugar at 80, we should say, wow, the people with 90 actually do better. Maybe we should be shooting to get our cholesterols, our LDLs up to 350. Instead of lowering it down to the point where we get dementia and lose our minds and die. Because that's what happens to people. That's what the statistics show. But that doesn't sell the drugs. And who among us who's so addicted to carbs wouldn't much rather click on a video that says, you can eat all the carbs you want and let me tell you why. If I was looking for views on YouTube to make a lot of money, I'd be putting out videos like that. They'd be so clickbaity, it was crazy. I'd be turning into Paul Saladino, telling you why you need to eat 500 grams of fruit and honey every day, because that's what you want to hear, because you're an addict. It's all so simple. All so simple. But nobody notices these things. We all get so bogged down in the complications. And it's so simple. And I fall for it too, because I'm an addict. I would love to be able to justify eating a quart of ice cream every day. Not just any ice cream, but like Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's. I'm sure it'll kill you, but God, I want it, you know. And if I start eating it, I can't stop. I would love to. I would watch that video in a second, even though I know better already. I'd still, on the hopes, on the wings of prayer, that person actually discovered a way that I could eat a gallon of that ice cream every day. I'd watch the video. He'd get the click. That thing would have 10 million views by this afternoon. That's what people want to hear. I can't tell them what they want to hear. I'm a realist. Nobody wants to hear reality. See the resemblance? At any rate, my friends, I've done enough damage for today. I still got 100 of you here. Wow. That tells me one thing. I mean, I have an analytical mind. It tells me you enjoy this side of me better than just talking carnivore and talking science and talking biochemistry. I'm like the guy. I'm like that character on the movie Network. I always have been, you know. I'm like Peter Griffin with Grind Your Gears. Grind Your Gears. Barry Simon, maybe this little video about what grinds my beans. Show you that again. I ought to start. And Peter Griffin had in Family Guy. And that expression was generated by AI. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Peter Griffin did a thing where he became a star on the local news doing a bitch segment like "What grinds my gears," he would say. And the guy at Network used to run to the window and he'd say, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." And he'd shout it out. People, we all feel that level of frustration when we discover that we're being had. And we are being so had by everywhere, everything today. Every agenda on the planet gets homogenized into every bit of media that we consume. You can't watch a sitcom anymore without seeing the woke agenda at play. You can't watch a movie without noticing product placements and subliminal hints and Coca-Cola billboards in the scenes as the things drive by. Or that in NCIS on one season, I noticed that Hyundai was the sponsor. And in every other scene, they had a shot of the dashboard, a shot of the infotainment system, the Hyundai logo, the Hyundai. It was a Hyundai commercial. The whole show was a Hyundai commercial. You and you come away from that saying, "Honey, why don't we buy a new Hyundai?" What made you think of that? I don't know. This thought just came over me. And while you're at it, pick me up a 6-pack of Coke and a pint of Ben and Jerry's. What? I don't know. It just popped into my head. I have a desire for that now. Well, that's what's happening to us. We are being totally controlled and manipulated. How would that apply to carnivore videos? Well, I think I may have explained that in the past hour. So, my friends, I'm going to take the weekend off. Saturday Night Live will miss this week while I decide exactly how I want to change. I need to change. I need to change away from a pure carnivore identity. Because as long as the word carnivore is in my channel name, that hurts me because we're not respected. We're looked as harmful, and I think we're throttled on YouTube. I think we've gone way astray in the message about carnivore. I don't think most of us need to be strict carnivore. I think more we need to make sure we don't do things that trigger our addictions. And I think that's the biggest problem. Again, I find people that always think that we have the self-control to wipe out addictions. And, look out, look around. Look around. If that were true, we wouldn't have that much addiction. That's the definition of addiction. Something you do that you have no control over. How can we say we have control? Addiction isn't real. You should be able to control it. I'm sorry. My shirt keep pulling over that way. All right. Something is creaking. It must be I'm hearing a little creaking sound. I think it's the rubber in my headphones. Okay. Let me take one last look at the chat. Thanks for coming and thanks for hanging in there with me. And I have to thank myself. I was ready to give up 15 minutes in, and then Guilt Sliding finished, but I can't hold that against him. I can't hold that against him. And all I can say is if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep it simple and try to fine tune what you do to your own personal results. I can't look like Zane Griggs. And if I did exactly what Zane Griggs is doing, I would weigh 400 pounds and never be able to stop stuffing carbs in my face because I'm an addict. And I get so tired of taking diet advice as it relates to addiction from someone who is not addicted. I mean, how is that not obvious? I cannot advise an alcoholic how to control his addiction because I don't care for alcohol. I can't advise a gambling addict about how to stay away from the casinos because I don't like to gamble. But I can advise a carbohydrate addict how to lessen the cravings and help kick that addiction because I'm a flaming carb addict. And somebody who is not a carb addict will think that everything I say is crazy. So for me, there is no such thing, and Peter knows this too. With me, it's ice cream. There's no such thing as a small amount of ice cream. If it's in the house, it's eaten. With Peter, it's chocolate bars and other things. And to tell, it's insulting to a person's intelligence to tell them that they should be able to have willpower and control their addictions. That's an insult. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because addictions came about because the animals that came before us that didn't think about things had to be stimulated somehow into action to do the work to go out and find. And that was what happened with addiction. They had to go and find what they were addicted to. Otherwise, they just lay there on their lazy ass, fall asleep, and die. Well, we're compelled by those same ancient programs in us that have been hijacked by the people that want to sell us ice cream. And that's the simple reality. So you can't be ashamed of being an addict, but you have to figure out individually how you overcome it. I keep digressing, and I'm going to end up being 2 hours here this morning. So, my friends, let me play a little happy music, say goodbye to everybody. There you go. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy the first weekend of the new year. By the time we get back to work on Monday morning, it'll be December of next year and be ready for New Year's Eve again. Kids get back to school. Everybody gets back to business. And we'll keep chugging along on YouTube here. So, Aaron says goodbye. And Boston Danny's here. Hiya, Boston Danny. John Beatty, goodbye to UDS 111. Mitch got all dolled up with a white sweatshirt. It's freezing here. I'm wearing the sweatshirt because it keeps me warm. I slept in a sweatshirt last night. It's crazy cold. That's Florida. OldGuyCarnivore says, thanks, Mitch. And thank you all for putting up with me. Letting me ramble. Little psychiatrist session for me. Clear my thoughts. And thank you for your comments. And that'll about wrap it up. So I will see you Monday morning. 7 a.m. Maybe I ought to make it 7:15. Give Kelsey a chance to I just have to learn to be tolerant and patient in the morning. 7 o'clock Monday morning, I'll see you here for Morning Coffee with Mitch. If I have any coffee left, I have a sip while the music ends. Done. Take the rest of the day off. Happy New Year for the last time. And eat meat.